Motherhood. 1 minute, you're mom of the year.
I love you, Mommy.
Then the next, not so much. From bath time to bullying, from potty training to puberty, parenting is full of challenges. But one thing is for certain, you are not alone. Welcome to Modern Mom Probs. I'm your host, author, mother, parenting expert, Tara Clark. Join me while we tackle today's modern mom problems. We're doing it. Yeah. Buongiorno, principessa. Come stai?
Bene, bene. Buongiorno.
I am so excited. So you're going to Sicily. I feel like I'm going with you. I'm going vicariously with you.
You are. Everyone is going to come with me on this trip. I am going to be a content monster on this trip.
I hope you are.
Starting as soon as we get off, everyone's going to pack with me, and then we're going to go. And I'm flying to Sicily tonight. Like, I'm just getting on a plane, and I'm going to solve a murder.
Incredible. Where are you flying into?
All right, so I'm flying from Philly to Rome because you have to. Although I think a Palermo flight is about to get added.
I saw that.
Yeah, or at least from New York. And then Rome to Palermo on Ryanair. So all of my luggage is going to be lost. I'm not going to have any clothes.
You know, it's funny that you say that. One time we did fly to Sicily and our luggage got lost. So yeah.
My luggage has been lost every time I've gone to Sicily. One time my stroller got lost. Like, my stroller that was my car seat got lost, and it just followed me around Sicily for like a week. Never catching up with me. So I had a 3-month-old strapped to me the whole time. But yeah, no, the luggage is definitely going to get lost. It doesn't matter what I pack, but you try. We have big aspirations. And my best friend isn't working right now. She's an attorney and she's taking a career pause. And so she was just like, yeah, I'm just going to come. And I'm like,
yes, she is.
Okay, great. So she's already in Rome drinking by herself. And she is meeting me at the Rome airport tomorrow. And we're flying to Palermo together. And I'm immediately like going to Agrigento to dive into like state archives to find the record of this murder.
I want to talk all about this because the book, The Sicilian Inheritance, is based upon the true story of your great-grandmother's murder.
Yes. Great. There's a lot of greats. There's a lot of greats here. Yeah. Much like when people are like, is that your second cousin? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Anyway, great-great-grandmother. I wrote The Sicilian Inheritance because there's this story in my family about my great-great-grandmother being murdered before she could join the rest of the family, her husband, in America. But everyone has their own version of this story. And because we're Italian Americans, we're liars and myth makers and storytellers in the best of possible ways. And after I wrote The Sicilian Inheritance, the novel, which is about a woman being left behind and the other women lifting her up and women's ambition and agency, and it's a just delicious adventure through Sicily. After I wrote that novel, I was like, oh God, I guess I have to solve the real life murder now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. And so I took my kids to Sicily last summer to try to start solving this murder. Her name is Lorenza Marsala. She was killed at age 54, and her husband was already in America. Most of her children were already in America. Her husband had been gone for 12 years. She was alone for a long time in Sicily. And there's all these theories that she was killed by the mafia for her land. She was killed by the mafia, like, in retribution for something. Or she was a witch and a healer, and she, like, didn't heal the wrong person. And when I first went...
Just like Serafina
in my book. And the weird thing is, I didn't want to know the true story while I was writing the novel. And then so much of the novel is actually the real story because I'm definitely a Sicilian witch.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am.
But you know what? Anche io. So am I. So that's okay.
Sì, è vero. Yeah. Totally. Exactly. So, yeah. So when I went over there the first time this summer, again, 3 kids under the age of 7, I'm like, I'm going to go solve a murder.
God bless you for traveling with 3 kids under the age of 7.
I just listened. We just finished the first and second episodes. Oh, and the podcast is also called The Sicilian Inheritance. So we've got the book, The Sicilian Inheritance, and the podcast, The Sicilian Inheritance. And so I didn't really believe that she was murdered when I first went over. I was like, maybe it is totally made up, like family lore, right? But in the town where she's from, there's 2 books of death. And in one book, it's like deaths by natural causes, just died in the home. And in the second book, it's unnatural causes.
Really?
Yeah. And she's in unnatural causes. So, I mean, that was like our first clue. We're all like, oh. And then we found out that she didn't die in the home of unnatural causes. She died in a weird field outside of town of unnatural causes.
Jo, I have chills.
I know.
I literally have chills.
I know. But in the book, and this is like a little bit of podcast spoiler, but it only takes you into episode 2, and it's way like you're going. The great thing about the Sicilian Inheritance podcast is you go on this journey with me. Like this is a trip, man. It's a true crime podcast, but it's really a freaking adventure. And so she's in this book of unnatural deaths. There's all of this information about where she freaking died, but no cause of death, which is suspicious because there's causes of death for other people.
I feel like that's something that they often record.
Yes, it is, but not for her. And like, it's like, what is the reason for that? Why wasn't her cause of death recorded? And then there's another bombshell that comes with that, but I can't reveal that here because that one's just too big. It's too big, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And so this trip, I'm going back. I had to get special permission to get into the court archives to see if there is a police record and to see if anyone was charged with her death.
Who found her?
I don't know. We don't know. It doesn't say who found her. It says exactly where it happened to like a startling accuracy. It's like around this one bend in the road next to the natural spring by the place where there was a landslide 6 weeks ago. It's like the most Sicilian thing I've ever heard. And it's handwritten in cursive. It's the most Sicilian thing ever. And we also it was when we found the entry, we're talking to this one clerk in the town. And also my family has gone back and tried to get records about her before, and they've been chased out of town before. Like people have been like, nope, don't follow up on this. Get out of here. And so I was thinking I wasn't going to get anything. But, somehow I found the one administrator who would give me stuff, but he's looking at it. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, she just died right here. And they're like, can you read it out loud? And then he's like, oh yeah, something happened. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
something happened.
And then we found the other thing in the book, which is like a big bombshell. So, but the problem is getting documents in Sicily, like getting documents anywhere, is hard, but harder than here. Mm-hmm. It's like we had to make requests and then also find the right guy who knew the right guy. And I've been granted access to 3 different archives, but I have to wear a mask. I have to wear gloves. I can be in there for exactly an hour. Like I can't have my phone in there. It is very deadly serious.
Whoa, that's some real shit.
It's some real shit. Like this is some real crazy. So, I mean, essentially it's like CSI. I'm a character in CSI now. And yeah, so I'm going with, and now my best friend is going, and she plans on being tipsy the entire time. So
of course.
I'm going to be recording everything. I'm going to be putting all the stuff up on Instagram and bringing everyone along with me. But this is exciting because we're a month out from the Sicilian Inheritance coming out right now today. The book.
I have to tell you that this episode drops on your launch date.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're out. Everyone order it. Everyone, we're out.
Buy it right now.
Buy the Sicilian Inheritance right now. The best thing that I can tell anyone about it is that it is the book that will get you out of your reading slump. And that's what so many people have told me. They're like, I felt like I got to travel to Sicily and I loved these characters and it was fun. I had a good time reading, and there's so many books where you don't have a good time anymore.
Yeah, I love that you described it as like something to get you out of your reading slump. That was exactly what it was for me. I read so many parenting books.
Yes, you do.
And I do. I really do. And like self-improvement books, because, doing this podcast thing for a living, like everyone's like, here, read my book. And so, yeah, I have parenting books up the wazoo, which I love, and they're wonderful. But this was obviously a fiction book, and it took me right out of my everyday life and my everyday parenting world and sucked me right into the heart of Sicily. And that made me so very happy. And the themes in your book were so important. Can we talk a little bit about the themes of the book?
Yeah. And, when I started writing the book, honestly, I did want to just write an adventure. Like, I had been reading so many serious books, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to write a murder mystery in Sicily. I want it to be an adventure. But because I am a person who writes about women in the world and ambitious women and agency and how we care for ourselves, the themes ended up coming in of like taking down the patriarchy, women taking care of each other. How do we treat mothers in the world? I couldn't help it.
But it also lends itself to that.
But it does. And so, I mean, at its heart, this is a book. There's two characters, Sarah in the modern day and Serafina in the past. And both of these women are grappling with, how can you be a mother in the world and also be ambitious? How can you be a woman who wants more out of life, but also be a caregiver and a wife? And how difficult it is to be successful as a woman. And then the other women that lift you up, that support you, that are here to say, yes, you can. I will help you follow your dreams. I am going to help you save your own life, essentially.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And one thing I thought was really interesting is that Sarah is a butcher.
Yes.
Which is highly uncommon for a woman, right? You don't see that every day.
You do not see women butchers every day. No, despite the fact that it is women typically putting food on a table.
Right.
Yes.
But that's the one role that tends not to be. And like, I've known a lot of male Italian butchers. So it's not that like being a butcher as an Italian American, that is common. But as a female, totally different thing.
Totally different thing. So Sarah's a butcher, and I wanted her to be a butcher because I wanted to give her a job that was very physical, a job that was very hands-on, and also a job that had to do with food. She's a butcher and also a chef. She started her own restaurant in Philadelphia, but it is hard for a female chef and restaurant owner to succeed. I've talked to so many chefs in Philly who are women who are like, it's almost impossible. And we're seeing a lot more these days, but still not nearly enough. So Sarah's business is going under because of these difficulties, because she has a young daughter, because she doesn't have the support from her husband, because she doesn't have the support from her investors, because she is a woman. And I wanted her to have a job that dealt with food, because so much of this book is about delicious food, and I want people to get hungry while they're reading it. I want you to be hungry. I want you to crave delicious food. I love food so much. And I think that we have seen too many books in the past 50 years that have women-centric characters that talk about dieting and talk about restricting and talk about women just like trying to like keep themselves from enjoying food. And I'm like, no, I'm writing a book about women enjoying the hell out of food because we deserve it. We do.
We do. I mean, the thing is, you and I are both Italian-American, Sicilian-American, and we enjoy food. It's part of our culture.
It's part of our culture. It's part of our lives. Like I want to, create books and media that show my daughters that we should be enjoying food. I don't want them to grow up the same way that I did, thinking restriction, count the calories. I want them to be healthy, and I also want them to love life and love eating.
Mm-hmm. And love Italian food.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm going to be eating Italian food in like 16 hours.
I'm literally salivating just
I'm going to send you so many pictures. I'm just like, you're going to get sick of me because I'm going to send you pictures of everything that I eat.
No, I won't get to, because there's so much beautiful, fresh seafood.
Yes.
The seafood is out of this world.
It's well, in Sicily especially, and I just wrote this piece for Philadelphia Magazine about how Sicilian food is not Italian food.
No,
it is different. We have it's fresh fish. It's very Mediterranean. It's very Northern African. I actually, and not like I care anymore because I'm very happy with my body, but I lose weight every time I go to Sicily because you're eating such fresh ingredients.
Certo,
sì, è vero. And so I'm like, I'm going to stuff my face. And when you're reading this book, people keep writing to me, the ones who've gotten an early copy, and they're like, I'm so hungry. Can you recommend what I should eat while I keep reading? And so I've been sending people recipes. I've been sending them, I'll go find out where they are and find the best Sicilian restaurant and go through the menu and be like, you should order this right now. I need you to Uber Eats this dish. I've been very hands-on with this book launch.
I can tell. But you know what's funny? I feel like the Sicilian embassy or their tourism department needs to thank you, because the work that you're doing to get people to go visit Sicily is really phenomenal.
This book will make you want to go to Sicily immediately. And if I need someone to write that headline, that's the headline that needs to be in Travel and Leisure right now. This book will make you want to go to Sicily right now. As we're on the phone, I just got a really nice review from Town and Country. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, tell us.
So nice. This just in from Town and Country. Must read book of spring 2024. Jo Piazza's book is a charming page turner packed with wit and wicked twists that will keep readers engrossed.
Yeah, they're right. Yes, and yes.
And yes.
And yes. Go buy this book. I think it's the perfect summer read, because even if, let's just say it's June, you're sitting at a pool in Philadelphia, you're reading this book, and you're imagining being on the beaches of Sicily. And that's exactly what I think most people are going to be doing.
Yes. I mean, some people have called The Sicilian Inheritance the book of the summer. I'm going to say yes.
I think I was one of those people.
Yeah, you were. Actually, I think it was you. It was you who said this is the book of the summer. And I believe that. I think this is one of the books that's going to catch fire with readers more than anything else. And I can't wait for it to be in the world. I'm so happy it is in the world today. And I also want women to read it together. So I mean,
it's the perfect book club book because of the empowerment, because of the story, without giving too much away. Is like there's a time in the book where the women are running the village.
They're running the village. Yeah.
And that alone, I think, needs to be discussed. It needs to be talked about in a group of women.
Absolutely. And it's the perfect buddy read too. So I'm encouraging people to get it for themselves and then for their sister, their best friend, or their mom. Because it's a book that wants to be discussed. We want to talk about the things that women don't talk enough about, which is ambition, how we want more out of life. How do we take care of each other? And so, I want everyone to read it out loud with a friend, or pick it up. And it's the perfect book to ignore your children while you're on spring break.
Totally is.
Yeah. That's my favorite. I've decided, my publisher did not like that as an advertising campaign.
I was going to say, they're like, yeah, you got to strike that.
No, they didn't like it as an advertising campaign. I'm like, it's okay. I'll just run the ads myself. Perfect book to ignore your kids on spring break. Perfect book to hide in the bathroom and pretend that you're pooping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's actually what I did with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
couldn't put it down. I was obsessed. It was one of those things where it's like, I couldn't put it down until I finished it. And then I was sad when I finished it.
Oh, but that's good. That's what I want. I want people to be sad, because I'm now envisioning a sequel to it too. Which will be set in Sicily and America, in Sarah's new butcher shop. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's going to be kind of like The Bear Meets Weeds with the Sicilian mob, but make it ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I know.
I want to go back to your real life true crime adventure here.
Please do.
How are you going to do this in another language, in another country? I know the bureaucracy in Sicily is bananas. I'll give you a quick story. My husband's family lives in Siracusa, which is on the eastern side of the island.
And also much more civilized than the western side.
Which is funny, because actually my family's from Palermo, which is on the western side.
Yeah. We're bananas over there.
Bananas. There's no structure. There's nothing. No. Okay. So, but in Siracusa, they have an orchard. They own a lot of land. And they were looking to sell off a piece of land. And they needed my mother-in-law's approval, because it was like her mother's land, right? My husband's grandmother. Anyway, this has been going on for 3 years now, because it's like you have to get the right notary and the right thing and back and forth with the cousins. And I've never seen a process take so long as this land sale.
Yes. You have to get the notaio, who's which is a notary / real estate agent, and they're
/ lawyer
/ fixer / all of the things. The notaio, you got to get the notaio. No, I mean, Sicilian bureaucracy is alive and well. I mean, it's like their kink. Okay, if the island of Sicily had a kink, it would be bureaucracy. And
it gives them something to do, I
guess. It gives them something to do.
Right?
I know, exactly. It's bureaucracy and gossip is what it is. Bureaucracy, gossip, and grudges. And yeah, it's been a year of asking for permission to get into these archives, to even figure out where anything is, because no one knows. And then a lot of records, they're so good at keeping records. They love records. But then a lot of them have just been pillaged. And the mob did take a lot of records too. They did raid some of the agencies because they don't want certain names in there. So some things may be missing, especially if her death was something to do with the mafia. It might not be in there. And I think there could be reasons why the cause of death is not entered. There's also some like name switches in some of the documents that I think may have been on purpose. So we have no idea what we're getting into. I don't think it's that dangerous, but I do have some mafia experts who have been like, watch your back. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. And including my husband, he's like, you have 3 kids. Can you get back here, please?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you are going just with your best friend. So it's not like you're going with like a security guard or anything. Do you have any security set up?
We have a translator. We have a guide, because, my Italian is not amazing. It comes back, particularly like after like 1 glass of wine. But Sicilian is not Italian. It is it's different. It is a totally different dialect. And so we have someone coming with us. She's a researcher and a translator, and we have a guide. We have like someone accompanying us to the archives. We have all of the things. But this has been insane. I can't believe where I'm actually going back. And I might have to go back again. That's the thing. I'm like, I have another book called How to Be Married that I wrote a billion years ago. And I was signing it this weekend because I did a book event in Virginia. And I was signing.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was so fun. But the inscription was How to Be Married. The secret to a happy marriage is to leave your husband and go to Italy with your best friend.
That's the best.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm going to go back until I solve this. And I think that I will solve it. And, one of the reasons that this is so important to me is that when my family tells the story of Lorenza Marsala's murder, half of them don't know her name. It's just become this kind of mythology. Our great-great-grandmother was murdered in Sicily, and it's more about them than her. And they definitely don't know any details about her life. And I think that's unfair to her. And so I want to gather as much information about how she lived as about how she died. Because I also think that too often we focus on a woman's death. We become obsessed with a woman's death instead of celebrating her life. And so I want to find out how she lived her life. What was she doing in those 12 years where she was alone without her husband and most of her children? And I think that she deserves that. And with all of my Sicilian witchy powers, it does feel like she's been here with me.
How many children did she have?
She had 7 children who lived to adulthood.
Wow.
Yeah.
And every single one of them were in the States?
They all came here. They all came over. Yeah, they did. My great-grandfather, Santo, came first. He was the oldest. And then they all came, mostly 2 by 2. Her husband came next. They all settled up in Scranton. And when she was murdered, there were 2 girls left with her.
So they were still in Sicily.
Two girls.
She wasn't totally alone.
She wasn't totally alone. There were 2 girls that were still there. Yeah. And one of the other things we're going to find out on this trip is, where did those girls go when she died? Mm-hmm. Who did they go to?
Yeah. And how old were they? Were they babies? Were they teenagers?
No, they were teenagers. They were teenagers at that point. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot that we can dig into. We are, I mean, like you mentioned, we're trying to get the land records too. And then I have this guy. There's one restaurant in the town where my family is from. My family's from this town called Caltabalota. And in the book, The Sicilian Inheritance, I call it Caltabalessa because I'm like, it's not exactly the same. And it just gave me a little more leeway to, fiction. Like some stuff I have to make up. But there's one main restaurant. And it opened for us last time we were there. And one of the sons of the owners is also the main real estate guy in town. And so he keeps trying to sell us an apartment there. So I may come back having bought a Sicilian apartment for like $1.
I was just about to say it was probably going to be $1.
It was
so
about $1. I know, but then the taxes are $25,000. So you're like,
Oh, is that the thing?
I think that's
I've seen
the
that
trick.
before. I'm
I
like,
think
I want to buy a
that's the
condo for
trick.
$1.
Yes. No, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I was always just thinking that, like, you know, the walls are caving in and there's no ceiling.
Well, that is also true. That is also true. So we would like go into one and I'm like, did something explode in here? Like literally, did a bomb go off in here? And he's like, oh, it is a good deal. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it. That sounds good.
Or he's probably like, but look at the view.
Well,
aren't you seeing this view?
Don't you see this view? And I mean, and another one, there was like a garage literally with a car in it that had exploded. I'm like, that car exploded. And my producer, Kate, is like, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. And also they didn't move it. They just, the car comes with it. And also all of the furniture always comes with it. And I'm like, there's like a blood stain on the couch. I'm like, someone was murdered there.
Yes, that was the mafia. I mean, not that we should talk about it because, like, you shouldn't talk about the mafia, right? Because they don't exist.
They don't exist. They don't exist.
They don't exist.
Yeah,
but someone was blown up in that.
Someone was blown up in that car. Someone was murdered on that couch. Like all of those things are true. All of those things are true.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's going to be so fun. I'm excited. I'm just really excited for readers to get their hands on Sicilian Inheritance because it is the best book that I've ever written. I can say that honestly. My husband, who has read all of my books but doesn't read anyone else's books, has said that too. And it's just so personal. And I think that readers are really going to feel that when they're reading this.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. And, you know, for me, and this sounds sort of selfish, but there was a certain level of inclusion and representation because there are not a lot of stories about Italian-American, Sicilian-American women portrayed in a positive light.
In a positive light.
So many times, like, you know, the mob wife trend that was going on around, which freaking killed me.
Yes.
Because anything that, you know, my husband always says this, and he's right to a certain degree. You can't make fun of any different, you know, ethnic groups. But somehow the Italians are always the ones that could be the butt of a joke. Oh, we make fun of New Jersey. We make fun of Philly. We make fun of, you know, Tony Soprano or mob wife trends. And it's like, my husband's always like, why are they always making fun of our culture? And it's true to a certain degree.
It is true to a certain degree. And, you know, also when it comes to historical fiction, this is my first try at historical fiction. And you really don't see a lot of Italian Americans. And if you do, you definitely don't see Sicily. And so it was really important to me to be able to set a book in Sicily because there's so many of us here in the States. Like if you were Sicilian American, you need this book. You have to get this book immediately. And I think that it's nice to see our people in a book.
That's what it is. I really genuinely believe that it's a lack of representation in other books and other pieces of media for the Italian Americans, the Sicilian Americans. And that's why I read this book, like you said, like you're eating a good meal.
Yeah.
That's how I consumed this book. I consumed this book with every bite of almost like my grandmother's Sunday gravy. Well, they call it gravy, but
they
like
call it gravy.
Sunday.
Gravy. Yeah, it's gravy.
That's what my grandparents called it. But like their Sunday gravy. And that's how I ate this book. And I felt safe. I felt like home. It reminded me of my grandparents. It reminded me of our trip to Syracuse, which we took a couple years ago. Oh my God, it was 11 years ago, but we're actually going next year.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait I want to go when you go. Maybe I'll go when you go.
We totally could. Or if you book something, then I'll for writers. Or whatever,
I'm also doing a writing and reading retreat. I think it's really nice to do a retreat for readers to get to be in a place and also just to rest for moms to rest and relax and read. So I will be doing a writing retreat and a reading retreat in Sicily this fall, and I'm trying to make it as inexpensive as possible, which is another reason I'm like, all right, if we can get the book to be really popular, we can get it all sponsored and then people won't have to pay a lot of money to come.
Right. Which is what we're hoping for. I think this is going to be a bestseller. New York Times bestseller. It has New York Times bestseller written all over it.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, you never know because it's a black box. We don't know how the New York Times decides these things. But yes. And I think if we all order the book today, then it could be. I will say the New York Times bestseller list, it is all calculated based on that first week. So we've got to do it right now. We've got to do it literally this morning.
Right from jump.
Yep. Right now.
Now, what's your favorite scene in the book? What's your favorite part?
Oh my gosh.
Without giving any spoilers.
Without giving any spoilers away, because my favorite scene, I still cry when I read the ending, and I love the last paragraph. But I also love the scene where Sarah, she is the modern day woman. She's from Philly. She's in her 30s. She's a mom of a daughter, a young daughter. And she arrives in Sicily for the first time and goes to a restaurant that is very similar to the restaurant where in the town where my family's from. And just madness ensues. It's the perfect Sicilian restaurant scene, but it also includes, there's a character named Juicy, who is a Sicilian woman who did not exist when I first started writing this book. And she came to me. Like she just popped into my head and was like, you will write me. And she's the best character I've ever written. Juicy is this badass Sicilian woman who will do anything to protect her family, to protect her livelihood, and to get ahead in a world that is dominated by men. And when you talk about the mob wife trend, her outfits are amazing. The words that come out of her mouth are amazing. And in this restaurant scene, she actually gets up on a table and just sings opera. And I'm like, yep.
I love that character.
I love her.
She's really one of my favorite characters in the book. I love Sarah and I love Serafina, but Juicy was really like, mwah, chef's kiss.
For me, it's Juicy. Like some people love Serafina so much. And I'm like, I want to write Juicy for the rest of my life. Like I want to write a whole series based around Juicy is what I want to do.
But you really could, though, because there's so much intrigue in her backstory.
I know. I think there's a prequel. I think there's a prequel, and I think there's many sequels. So, yeah, Juicy all the way, and it's Juicy, Giusy, pronounced Juicy. It's just it's the best name. She walks with a cane, even though she does not have a limp. She is a character.
Because she's like a pimp like that.
She's a pimp
in a positive way.
The most positive connotation of pimp that we could imagine. And she's the one, really, I sat down to write this book, like not knowing how it was going to end. And she's the voice that I heard in my head. It was all Juicy all the time.
I love that. Do you think that there's definitely like a certain element of that very classic, like Italian-American badass, like a Marissa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny?
Yes. I had Marissa Tomei in my head a lot while I was writing this book. And funny story, Marissa Tomei also discovered a murder, a Sicilian murder or Italian, I think maybe an Italian murder in her family, and went back to investigate it. One of my friends works at the Today Show, and I'm writing an essay for her, and she's like, oh my gosh, did you know this about Marissa Tomei? And I guess she was asking Marissa about it. I want Marissa Tomei to be in the movie version of this desperately. Hey, Marissa, if you're listening, can we get you a copy of the Sicilian Inheritance?
100% yes. Let's just manifest that to happen.
Yes. I'm manifesting bestseller. I'm manifesting getting to write to turn this into a series. Also because I think that Italian-Americans deserve a series about us. Like we don't.
We
do. But women, because they're always centered on the men. Almost everything all of the media that we have about Italian-Americans is very male-centric, and the women deserve our thing.
We absolutely do, because Italian women are very strong.
We're so strong.
But we're so strong, but not portrayed that way.
We're not portrayed that way. No, we are not. While I've been working on the podcast, the only clip that I want that's from a TV show is Sophia Petrillo being like, picture this, Palermo.
1912.
And I didn't think about that when I was writing the book until I started doing the podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, Serafina is kind of Sophia Petrillo.
Yes.
A little bit.
No, but she is, though. But it's right. It's funny. I grew up watching Golden Girls every week, religiously watching Golden Girls. But as a child,
none of it.
I didn't really put two and two together on that. Like, it makes sense now. I'm 40 years old. It did not make sense when I was 9.
Did not make sense when I was 9. I never connected it to my family. I never really thought about it until very recently, because I watch them. I watch them now. I keep them on. Golden Girls is often on in the background when I'm editing podcasts.
Really? That's all. Where do you find it? What's it on?
I bought the series. on Amazon.
Yeah. I love you.
Because it's wonderful. My daughter's named B. She's named Beatrix, which is a family name, but also a little bit B. Arthur.
Yeah, she was so badass.
So
Speaking
badass.
of badass,
All of them were
women.
badass. All of them were badass,
Yeah.
and not celebrated that way nearly enough when the show was on. So, yeah, this book,
No.
The Sicilian Inheritance, is a celebration of badass women. In fact, I'm turning that into an ad right now. A celebration of badass women.
That's going to be the clip from this episode.
Yes. The Sicilian Inheritance is a celebration of badass women that is gonna get you out of your reading slump.
And it's going to help you to ignore your children on spring break.
Ignore your children on spring break. Go hide from them in the bathroom and read this book. Because you know what? I hid from my children in the bathroom writing this book. So you deserve to go hide from them while you read it.
It's life affirming.
It is life affirming. It is. It's like, so many books I've read, when I finish them, I don't have joy. And this book, despite there's some dark twists and turns, but you finish and you're like, I am hopeful and I am joyful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those things. Jo, where can we find this book? We need to get you on the bestseller list.
We do.
Where can we pick it up?
So The Sicilian Inheritance is available wherever you get books. You can order it from Bookshop, from Amazon, from your local indie bookstore. Walk into your local indie, and if they don't have it, they may sell out. Crazy fact, most indies only order 2 copies of any given book. The most they ever order is 6, so they may be sold out by the time you get there. Ask them to order more. Barnes & Noble is running some great promotions on it. You can find it anywhere that you get books.
It's amazing. Where do you find the inspiration for your stories? Because you've written so many wonderful books. You have a new idea for a new book. I don't know if I could tease to this one.
Oh, you can. Yeah, do it. Do it.
The Trad Wife mystery.
Trad Wife murder mystery. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm a member of your Substack and I read a part of it. I was like, this is good.
It's fun.
You just keep churning out the hits.
I keep churning them out. The Trad Wife murder mystery, the ideas come to me. They do. And I've been putting it on my Substack, which, by the way, when you pre-order this, or when you order, and it's now order. Oh my gosh, you can have it today. When you order the Sicilian Inheritance, I am giving away free subscriptions to my Substack, at least for the next 2 weeks. So it's an $80 value, plus you get the book of the summer, plus you get the Trad Wife novel, which I'm putting in installments on the newsletter.
It's so good. I'm hooked. I'm in it. It's like Ballerina Farms, but it's like a murder mystery.
It's a murder mystery.
Call that out by name.
Well, because it's not Ballerina Farm. It's a lot of different trad wives and influencers.
It's an amalgam.
It's an amalgamation, if you will. But I'm going to release another one from the plane tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I will be reading it with bated breath.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get on a plane without my kids.
Oh, yeah. Drinking Aperol spritzes. I don't know if you did that. That's my drink of choice.
Mine too. I love an Aperol spritz. Well, at all of the book events for this, and we're going to be having a lot in the next month, there's going to be Aperol spritz. There's going to be cannoli. They are going to be a Sicilian disco dance party. So get your orders in. And we're going to do one together. I'm working on that today. And then we're going to have a party. It's going to be a summer of Sicilian parties is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a festa.
It's a festa.
Una festa.
Festa di Sicilian Inheritance.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
That's it. I love it. I hope you have a safe flight. I hope you have a safe trip.
Thank you.
You have to document it, tell us all what's going on, everything like that.
All of it.
But also be safe.
I'll be safe. I'll be safe. Yes, absolutely.
That's my big takeaway. But have fun.
I am.
Yeah.
My plan is to have as much fun as possible. Yeah.
How long are you there?
I'm there till next Saturday.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is a fast trip, to be honest, to go to freaking Europe, but this is pretty much the max that I can leave the kids in one clip. And I've got all the help. My mom is coming. We've got all the babysitters. I was gone this weekend, though, too, for a book event. And my daughter, B, just looks at my husband. And she's like dead eye staring him. And she's like not putting on her clothes. And he's like, okay. He's like, I'm the boss. And she's like, you're the sub boss.
Oh. The sub boss. Where'd she get that?
I don't know. I don't she's like at a preschool that doesn't even have substitute teachers. And she's just like, you're the sub boss.
Amazing.
I know. And I'm like, can I get that on a sweatshirt for you? Hey, sub boss.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
That's going to be his new hoodie.
His new hoodie. Sub boss.
Get him that for Father's Day.
On it. Done. Done.
I'm an ideas person.
You're an ideas person. Well, I have a hot Sicilian sweatshirt for you too that I have to send to you.
Oh my gosh. I will wear that so proudly. You have no idea.
You're going to get it. It's going to be there in like a week.
I will rock that stuff all over the place. You have no idea.
Perfect.
I love it. Jo, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being you. Thank you for writing this incredible book. I'll hold it up. Yeah, hold it up. I want you to hold yours up because I'm not going to show my video today. Go get it. Get it. Go. Go.
Oh my gosh. So I only have one hardcover right now because they haven't come in yet. And it got lost on Amtrak yesterday.
Menage. There it is. That's it. That's the shot. How cute are you?
I love it.
That is it.
I love it so much.
I love it.
Look,
I adore you.
We're going to do all the fun things. We're going to hang out this summer.
All the things. Oh my God. I loved it so much. I was thinking about you this weekend. Actually, I was up in the Catskills.
Oh, fun. Where were you?
And at the Cartwright, which is like a water park.
Of course. Oh, I saw your post. You made me want to go to the Cartwright.
You should go.
I'm going to go. Yeah.
It's fun.
That's my plan. Yeah, I'm going to go this summer.
No, it's fun. You're going to like it. And I love as we were driving back, I was saying yesterday to my husband, actually, I mentioned you because we were talking today. And I was like, the Catskills are so relaxing. I get it. Like, I get why you come up from Philly because it's just like a whole nother world.
It's a whole nother world. They're wonderful. Yeah. Well, you're going to have to come up when I'm there this summer. And we'll do a whole thing. Yeah.
Certo. Let's do it. Awesome. Mwah. Have a safe flight. Thank you so much for being here.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Modern Mom Probs. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive in today's problem with me, your host, Tara Clark. Join me next time when I'll be interviewing another great guest and tackling another modern mom problem. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and a rating. As always, you could head over to Modern Mom Probs on Instagram and give me a follow, or check out my book, Modern Mom Probs, A Survival Guide for 21st Century Mothers, available online wherever books are sold. Well, that's it for today. See you next time, folks.